The West Coast Safety Initiative aims to promote and intensify safety awareness and preparedness throughout Namibia and especially in the Erongo region. Aubrey Oosthuizen, who is the Operations Coordinator at West Coast Safety Initiative, now joins me to discuss how long the Easter long weekend has been in terms of safety, especially on our roads. Good morning, Mr. Oosthuizen.
Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity.
Mr. Oosthuizen, first things first, please tell us more about the West Coast Safety Initiative and where the idea began.
Yeah, the West Coast Safety Initiative is a safety awareness campaign with the emphasis being on road safety. It initially started with the idea to keep the staff busy as such, and eventually over the years it's grown into a well-known safety campaign as such. We are trying to bring about driver behavior and attitude on our roads and bring about a reduction in the emergency response times, especially after something went wrong on the road and somebody is involved in an accident. We also identify and eradicate specific regional road safety related issues, and we escalate it to the relevant authorities so that it can be addressed as quick as possible. And at the end of the day, we would like to bring around safer roads for us all.
Mr. Oosthuizen, there's consensus that you're a well-established entity, especially at the Namibian coast. How long have you been in existence?
Yeah, I can't believe it myself, but it's been 17 years. Every year at the end of a campaign, I always say to myself, never, ever again. But when we look at the consequences on our roads, there's definitely not a question that needs to be asked, will you do it again next year? And the answer will be yes.
Now, as far as promoting safety and awareness is concerned, would you say residents of the Erongo region have been responsive to this initiative that has been in place and there over the past 17 years?
I would say definitely yes. On the one side, we don't have a tool to actually measure our successes as such. We just have to look at the feedback that we do receive. Not only is it the residents from the area as such, but we also got a lot of tourists that enter the central coastal region. And for them that is not familiar with the regional dangers, the regional hazards, they make contact with us on a regular basis, and we keep them informed. We keep them aware of all the issues in the region. So definitely, I would say, especially if you consider all the communications that are forwarded to us and all the feedback we receive, definitely we are reaching some ears out there.
Earlier this morning, we engaged Mr. Sidney Boyce, Senior Manager, Accidents and Injury Prevention at the Motor Vehicle Accident Fund, who informed us that unfortunately about 10 Namibians perished on our roads this past weekend and close to 80 injuries were recorded. What have your observations been relating to the past long weekend?
I'm talking specifically only for the region as such. It was actually quite a safe weekend. No road fatalities that were reported in the region. And I think purely we've been lucky because especially if you take in consideration the traffic volumes, the people that came down to the coast, and then specifically yesterday, the amount of people that left the coast. We're talking in terms of vehicle volumes of over 820 vehicles per hour, and that is a very high, significant amount of traffic on our roads. Now, that is one-way traffic. If you combine it with the incoming and outgoing traffic as such, you're talking about huge volumes. And unfortunately, some of the motorists out there, their behavior was atrocious, dangerous, reckless as such, but it's a very small amount, a small percentage as such. And considering that, I think this past weekend we've just been lucky that there was no road fatality reported in the area.
Mr. Oosthuizen, what exactly amounts to atrocious behavior on the roads?
Recklessness. I think everybody will disagree with me. I've seen it on a regular basis. The human factor always comes to the forefront. Namibians like to live in denial. They always blame the road. They will blame the officials out there. but they will not blame themselves, definitely not. And if we can change that behavior, change that attitude, the human factor, according to me, is contributing to about 97% of all our accidents out there. If we can eradicate that, I think road fatalities in Namibia will definitely be on a decline.
Very well. Now, traffic volumes of 820 vehicles per hour as far as outbound vehicles are concerned. We do know that you can't compare that to last year when there were no volumes of traffic. But how does that relate to the previous years?
Yeah, I think definitely this year it's a case of a lot of people don't have enough money. Previous years, they planned their holiday as such. They stayed longer at the coast. We were talking in terms of they stayed for the whole week over the Easter weekend and so on. But this time, I think they plan to stay down here for 4 days. That will explain the traffic volumes that we had. It was significantly higher than the previous years. And, I think it's all about money, the social-economical effect of the COVID.
Mr. Wissler, in our conversation with Mr. Boyce earlier, he also touched on the intersectional nature of awareness campaigns to curb the carnage on our roads and how important collaboration is. Do you, as West Coast Safety Initiative, work together with law enforcement agencies to ensure that there's a coordinated approach as far as curbing carnage and crashes are concerned?
Yeah, definitely we need to cooperate. We're definitely not a vigilante organization or a campaign as such. We do not pull people off the road and ask for driver's license or anything like that. We are additional eyes out there. We identify problems. We escalate it to the relevant authorities. That is why on a regional base, we know the people in charge. We know the people in senior management. We can liaise with them directly, escalate a problem or a road hazard to them directly, and we can see the speedy results that actually comes from that. And working with the relevant authorities, definitely we have to work. I think it's a cumulative effort as such. If we don't work together, then at the end of the day, we will not reach the general goal at the end of the day.
Being mindful and cognizant of the fact that you shared with us earlier that it's difficult to gauge and measure the success of the West Coast Safety Initiative, would you nonetheless say that it has yielded the results anticipated and it has also aided and enhanced safety in the Erongo region?
Yeah, definitely, I would say yes. We know the consequences if there's not a campaign as such. The campaign is also there to get the information out there. We put a lot of emphasis on the emergency pack that we distribute. It's the regional emergency numbers that are being distributed. And it's actually very strange how many people enter the Central Coastal region and they don't have any access to any of the emergency numbers as such. And obviously, they escalate the issue to the people they are familiar with. It might be out of town, and it causes significant delays at the end of the day. The feedback that we do receive from the public in general, people that come back to you and they say, Mr. Wissler, I've changed my attitude. Before I get on the road, I basically plan my journey as such. Previously, I just got behind the wheel and I drove. Now I'm inspecting my tires. Now I make sure my vehicle is 100% roadworthy. And I'm trying to get the message across to my children too. At the end of the day, it is their safety, it is my safety, and it's our safety at the end of the day.
Mr. Wissler, over the past close to 2 decades, there have been various calls to expand this initiative to the rest of the country. Are there plans underway at this moment to expand it to other regions?
I think I will shock everybody now if I say definitely a no. The reason for that is I believe in you've got to work on a regional basis. We need some activists out there. We need road safety activists out there in their specific towns and so on to stand up and say enough is enough. The reason why I also say that we're using regional expertise, regional knowledge, regional skills to address the issue. especially the bigger the organization gets, the harder it becomes to control. If you ask me, can you get somebody, hold of somebody in Gubabis for me that can address this and this issue? And I'm definitely going to say to you, no, I don't know who to phone. But if we've got people on a regional basis that are standing up, activists that are standing up and say enough is enough on our roads, we need to make our roads safer. I will definitely, on a regional basis, support those people, and together we can actually make it safer, town by town, road by road, and at the end of the day, it will be a national issue.
Loud and clear. Any final remarks this morning, please, sir?
Yeah, for all the Namibians out there, let's stop living in denial. We like to treat the symptoms of a problem at the end of the day. Let's identify the problem. Let us make a plan and to eradicate that problem as such. And let us work on the implementation of that plan that we made. We've got excellent plans on the table. We've got excellent ideas. I think, but the problem actually comes in with the implementation. Unfortunately, we get the media exposure. We've got electronic and printed media that support us and so on. But as soon as the media sunshine is gone, there is no implementation of whatsoever plan at the end of the day. So this is time for us to stand up, don't live in denial, and bring positive change about. And the first way to do it is for you to take the first step. For the motorists out there, start working on that attitude. Start working on your road behavior. The road do not belong to you, and at the end of the day, it's a privilege to drive on our roads. It's not a right as such.
Mr. Oosthuizen, bye-bye, dankie.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
That was Mr. Aubrey Oosthuizen, who is the operations coordinator at the West Coast Safety Initiative, telling us that enough is enough and we should accept responsibility for our conduct on Namibia's roads.